In one of the most surprising twists of the 2025 Formula One season, there's a wild rumor going around. George Russell might be leaving Mercedes and joining Aston Martin. Yes, that George Russell. The guy Mercedes picked to carry the team forward after Lewis Hamilton. He was supposed to be the future of the team, but now it sounds like Mercedes might actually be ready to let him go. So, what's going on? And where does Max Verstappen fit into all of this? Let's break it down. Right now, George Russell's contract with Mercedes is set to end after this season. Even though both Russell and team boss Toto Wolff keep saying they're on the same page and everything's fine, they still haven't signed a new deal. That's a big red flag. It makes people wonder if something's going on behind the scenes. And here's where it gets interesting. Reports say that Aston Martin really wants Russell to drive for them starting in 2026. At first, that might sound like a step down, but it's not that simple. Aston Martin is becoming a serious team. They've got a big new engine deal with Honda that kicks off in 2026, and they're being led by Adrian Newey, the most successful car designer in Formula One history. In short, Aston Martin isn't playing around anymore. They're getting ready to become a real championship contender. From Aston Martin's point of view, their plan makes a lot of sense. Lance Stroll isn't going anywhere. His dad, Lawrence Stroll, owns the team, so his seat is basically locked in. But what about Fernando Alonso? He's still super skilled and competitive, but let's be honest, at 44 years old, people are starting to wonder how much longer he'll stick around, especially with major rule changes coming in 2026. That's where George Russell comes in. If Aston Martin brings him on board, it's not just about having a younger driver, it's about having a race winner who can lead the team into the future. Signing Russell would be a bold move, a sign to the rest of Formula One that Aston Martin means business. But hold on, things might go even deeper than that. Some people believe Aston Martin could be eyeing another huge name, Max Verstappen. Here's why that theory exists. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff has always spoken highly of Verstappen, even when most people expected him to defend his own driver, George Russell. For example, during the Spanish Grand Prix, Russell and Verstappen had a pretty tense moment on the track. Many thought Verstappen overreacted, but Wolff didn't really criticize him. In fact, he seemed kind of chill about the whole thing. When asked about Verstappen's behavior in Barcelona, Wolff said, "If it was road rage, which I can't imagine because it was too obvious, then it's not good, but I don't know what he was trying to do. Maybe he wanted George to pass and then take the spot back like those old DRS games. For me, it's just hard to understand." That comment caught people off guard. It sounded like Wolff wasn't really upset with Verstappen at all, which makes you wonder, is something happening behind closed doors? In fact, Toto Wolff even suggested that maybe Verstappen had his own reasons for what happened, which makes things awkward for George Russell. It brings up a big question. Is Mercedes starting to shift their focus away from Russell? If Wolff sees Verstappen as the future star of Mercedes in 2026, then letting Russell go might not just be okay, it might actually be part of the plan. But wait, what if Aston Martin is thinking even bigger? What if Aston Martin isn't just trying to get George Russell? What if they're secretly aiming to sign both Russell and Verstappen for the 2026 season? Sounds crazy, right? It almost feels like something out of a movie, but some pieces of the puzzle are already in place. Earlier this year, rumors came out that Aston Martin offered Verstappen a mind-blowing $300 million deal. That's $300 million. The team denied making a formal offer, but their response was pretty interesting. They said, "It's normal for the media to speculate on the driver market, but we have an amazing driver lineup that we are committed to and who are under contract for 2026 and beyond." Translation? We say we're good, but anything's possible. And here's the truth. In F1, contracts don't always mean much. If a team really wants a driver and they're willing to dump a truckload of cash on their doorstep, anything can happen, especially when you've got big names like Adrian Newey designing the car, Honda providing the engine, and the whole team working behind the scenes to build what could be a championship-winning car in 2026. And it's not just the media stirring things up. The rumors are getting stronger because of what's happening in the paddock too. During the Australian Grand Prix weekend, George Russell was seen having a serious chat with McLaren bosses Zak Brown and Andrea Stella. Now, McLaren already has Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri locked in with long-term deals. So what was Russell doing there? Maybe it was just a friendly chat, or maybe not. Then came the Chinese Grand Prix, and Russell was spotted hugging Flavio Briatore, who's now working with Alpine as an advisor. Suspicious? Definitely. But the biggest shock came when reports claimed Russell had spoken with Red Bull's team boss, Christian Horner. And this wasn't just small talk. Horner openly praised Russell, saying, "We'd be foolish to overlook him." That says a lot. If Russell is meeting with top bosses from multiple teams, he clearly knows his future at Mercedes isn't guaranteed. It might already be slipping away. And of course, no one can talk about Aston Martin's big 2026 plans without mentioning one name: Adrian Newey. After leaving Red Bull, Newey joining Aston Martin as their managing technical partner sent shockwaves through the F1 world. He's one of the most brilliant car designers in the sport's history, and when he showed up at the Monaco Grand Prix inspecting the McLaren car, it wasn't just a casual visit, it was a signal that Adrian Newey is paying close attention and he's getting ready to build something big. If George Russell wants to be part of something big, a true technical revolution led by Adrian Newey, this could be his only shot to become a world champion after Mercedes. But here's where things really heat up. Imagine this: Aston Martin signs both Russell and Max Verstappen. That would be one of the biggest teammate matchups in Formula One history. We're talking Hamilton versus Rosberg level drama, or even the legendary rivalry between Senna and Prost. Think about it. Two of the most talented, aggressive drivers on the grid. They're not exactly friends either. Their recent on-track battles have been anything but friendly. These guys race hard, they speak their minds, and they definitely don't back down. Put them in the same team garage and you've basically got a ticking time bomb. Team strategy meetings? More like mind games and tension. But on paper, that driver lineup would be nearly unstoppable. Of course, it could go either way. It might launch Aston Martin to the top of the championship, or it could all fall apart in dramatic fashion. Either way, fans would be getting a front row seat to epic F1 drama every single weekend. That's a win for the sport. So, what about Mercedes? Right now, Mercedes is still ahead in developing their engine for 2026, just like they were when they dominated the turbo hybrid era back in 2014. So, it wouldn't make much sense for them to let a driver like Russell walk away unless they already had someone better lined up. And once again, guess who everyone's talking about? Yep, Max Verstappen. If Toto Wolff somehow pulls off the ultimate move, bringing reigning world champion Max Verstappen to Mercedes, it would totally change everything. It would explain why Mercedes seems so relaxed about possibly losing George Russell. Maybe they already have their next superstar lined up. Whether Russell stays at Mercedes or makes a shocking move to Aston Martin, one thing is clear: 2026 is going to be wild. Seriously, we're heading into one of the most unpredictable, chaotic Formula One seasons in years. And not just for drivers, the whole sport is about to hit the reset button. That's because in 2026, major rule changes are coming. And history tells us that when the rules change this much, nobody is safe, not even the best teams. What worked last season might fall apart, and the team that struggled before, they could suddenly be fighting for wins. But one thing's for sure: Red Bull and Aston Martin are going to look very different. Both teams are going through big changes, but their paths, totally opposite. Red Bull could be losing their genius designer Adrian Newey and possibly even Verstappen. Meanwhile, Aston Martin is building up like never before with big money, big names and big dreams. So buckle up, F1 fans, the road to 2026 is going to be fast, fierce and full of surprises. Even though Red Bull has been crushing it lately, 2026 could throw a major wrench in their plans. With Honda stepping out and Ford stepping in as their new engine partner, adapting to the new rules might be a real challenge. On the flip side, Aston Martin is gearing up in a big way. With Honda powering their cars and Adrian Newey bringing his legendary design skills, a lot of people think they're about to make a huge leap forward. 2026 could be the year the green machines take over or crash trying. And here's the deal: if Aston Martin signs either George Russell or Max Verstappen, it would shake up the entire sport. But if they manage to get both, that would be a total game changer. We could be looking at the start of a brand new golden age in Formula One, full of rivalries, controversies, and epic on-track battles that fans will talk about for years. So what do you think? Should George Russell stay loyal to Mercedes or take a risky shot at Aston Martin's rising project? And if Verstappen ends up on the same team, would it be teamwork or total chaos? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget, hit that like button and subscribe to Racing Revolution for more F1 drama, updates and deep dives every week.